Hi again, it's Miss Cozy. I am the Children's Ministry Director here at Ocean Hills, and this is our preschool classroom management training video. So preschool classroom management can be a very funny thing. It can sometimes feel like you're herding cats, but that's preschool and that's part of the fun, and that's probably why you're working with preschool, because you love preschoolers and think they're awesome. So this is a suggestion. These are some tips and tools and ways to set you up for success and participation in your group. Now, the most important thing is we want our kids to feel known and loved by Jesus and his church by the way that we treat them. They're so much more going to remember how we make them feel than what they learn through our words. And so let's remember, as we are kind of manipulating their behavior a little bit, that it is because we want them to experience God and his community. We want them to be able to participate and learn and engage with what's going on, not just because we want them to be easy for us. So these are some things that might help our kids get the most out of our preschool O-Kids program. So we are going to say that to set you up for success, there are a few things you can do. One, decide on who's going to be leading the activities and who's going to be the kind of classroom manager. So it's really challenging to be leading a activity and also be needing to manage the behavior. So make sure that before you start an activity where it might be a little bit more structured, that you communicate with your teacher like, okay, you're doing the classroom management part right now. And so that's really a very helpful thing. The other thing that you're going to learn over time is to know when something is so distracting that it really is taking away from the group, and when we need to just let it go and not reward that negative behavior. So in preschool, this is particularly important because they do lots of weird and random things, but when we really think about it, it's not really taking away from the group. And so we really want to decide when it is that we want to try and correct their behavior. It is also really important that we learn to redirect. So they may not always understand a direct action, but they are going to be able to be easily redirected. That's one of the many amazing, beautiful things about preschoolers, is they are really easily redirected. Fourth grader, not so much. So you can ask them questions or prompt them, look at this, or did you see this, or can you show me this, or I bet that you can jump so high. Will you show me how to jump? And maybe you're doing it as it relates to the activity. Maybe, do you think you could glue these little pom-poms onto the sheep paper? Because we're children's ministry, of course we glue things to a sheep paper. So, engage them, ask them to participate with you, kind of give them little challenges. They like those things. Redirect them. Oh, do you want me to build you a big tall tower and you can knock it over? Oh, that'd be so fun. They will feed off of you. And so modeling that positive behavior, that it's okay, mom and dad are gonna come back, but soothing them at the same time, but consistently redirecting. So those are some really great strategies for our specifically younger. So also expectations. So as they get older, we really have a set of expectations that helps them know what's expected of them, so they don't feel caught off guard. They're not feeling anxious about not knowing how to have the proper behavior, because they really do want to please, most of them. So we have some expectations. So the first one is positive and nice talk only, and you can kind of coach them on what that is in saying, I love O-Kids. That's positive and nice. Or good job, Sarah. Positive and nice. Or this is boring. That's not very positive or nice. So coaching them on what positive and nice talk is will help them kind of bring a positive and inclusive vibe to our preschool room. And then we do hands and feet to yourself. So as the kids get older, we actually have a call and response that goes hands and feet to yourself. And so you can start doing that with the kids as they kind of get older, but really hands and feet to yourself is a great one. And then we're implementing a new one. It's hear your teacher, do what they ask. So it's kind of giving them a kinesthetic response so hear your teacher, do what they ask. That is an expectation. It kind of covers the many random things that preschoolers do that we would rather have them not do. And the last one is ask yourself, is this the right time to talk or be silly? Being silly is a big part of being a preschooler, but sometimes it's not the right time to be silly, and we want them to know that there's a time to be silly, but there are also times where it's not the time to be silly. So that is kind of our expectations, and you can repeat them and repeat them and repeat them. I like to usually go over them after family circle. That is a great time to go over those expectations. And so the last part of this to kind of set you up for some positive classroom management is a kind of a step approach. So the first thing that you want to do to manage behavior is positively reinforce that good behavior. So they love positive reinforcement, especially when it's specific. So keep positively reinforcing your group of preschoolers, and sure enough, more preschoolers will exhibit that positive behavior. So the next thing is, and this becomes more effective as they get older, is just place a hand on their shoulder. Let them know that you see them and that their behavior isn't okay. Then the next thing is, again, place hand on a shoulder and say, is this the right time to? And then use that question to help them self-correct. So we do this a lot with our older kids. It allows them to self-correct without us saying, you did something wrong, and you need to stop. So this really allows them to take control of their behavior. The third thing is, if the behavior still continues, and they need a little pause moment, you can remove them from the class. And so what I do to make sure that we're still too deep is I just stand in the doorway, but I have the actual child stand in the hallway where the children can't see them. So I'm in the doorway, the teacher can see me, but the children can't see the child because they're against the wall. And so we have our conversation that way. And I ask them, do you know why we're out here? And they're probably gonna say no. And so you kind of set the scene for them. And you can say, well, we were worshiping and you were being like so silly, but is that the right time to be silly? We love when you're silly during free play, but is worship time the right time to be silly like that? And then let them answer. And so kind of give them an opportunity to self-correct. And then give them choices too. So choices is another great way to kind of manage their behavior. So say, hey, you can either do this, you can stay in your spot in your classroom when we're doing worship, or you can sit down on the side. They'll be like, I want to run around. You say, no, that's not one of our choices. So you only want to give them choices that you're okay with also. And so giving them choices also allows them to take ownership of their behavior in a really positive way. And so once you have taken them out of the group, we want to end that moment really positively. So we say, that is awesome. So you want to ask them like, okay, what can we do next time? Sorry, I missed that part. So what can we do next time? And then hopefully they have an idea of, oh, I can do the hand motions in worship. That's a great idea. You're going to do so great at that. And then say, you know what? I really love it when you're here. I think it's so fun. You drew a beautiful picture this morning, and we just love having you here at O Kids, and I think you're going to do a great job next time. You give them a high five, and you nonchalantly, like nothing happened, go back into the classroom. And so we don't want your facial expression to say, oh, I just got done with a really tough conversation with a preschooler. You don't want that facial expression. You want to go in like nothing's happened, like they are the best, greatest kid, like you just spent the whole time praising them. So remember, this is our opportunity to be different than the world. The world is going to tell our kids that they need to be faster, stronger, better, smarter, prettier, whatever it is, and that their affection and value and love is dependent on those things. But at O Kids, we want our kids to feel unconditionally loved and cared for no matter what, no matter if they are always following those expectations or they're never following those expectations. We really want them to feel known and loved by Jesus and the church by the way that we treat them. So thank you so much for doing your best to implement these strategies to make sure that our kids are able to have fun and participate and learn more about who God is, who He made them to be, and how we can follow Jesus with our whole lives. So I will see you on Sunday. Have a good one.